Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast. This is the Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Trader Cobb Crypto Show. What a great day it is today. Why is it so great? Because there's a lot of green across the marketplace right now, especially within that top 10. And my favorite place to see green is within the top 2. And I'm seeing right now Bitcoin very, very, very green right now. That makes me happy. The reason it makes me happy is because it's a greater market momentum moving now. I've talked about Bitcoin at 10,000. I've talked about this really annoying consolidation. Now, the great thing about this is that we've actually broken through one of the key levels that I spoke of. The key levels that I spoke of was a high of 9512. Getting up through that level, that's a Coinbase chart. Getting up above that high has now created a short-term micro trend on the daily of a new higher high. And the old higher low, which was the lowest point we got to within that move back down, was 8831. Now we have a higher low and a higher high, and I am going to say it again. We are looking good for 10,000, baby. It does look very likely that we're going to get up there now. The consolidation that we had seen throughout the last 8-9 days has played out, and I've remained bullish throughout because there was no other reason to get bearish. There really wasn't a signal there on the charts that suggested anything other than the momentum to the upside. And I can safely say now, yep, I'm very bullish once again. The nice big bullish candle approaching 5%, mind you, a pretty decent. Well, yeah, it's a pretty good move. It's not a monster, but it's a good move. Now coming on to Ethereum as well. I'm in love. I really am in love. We have just hit 770 on Ethereum against the dollar, which is our next resistance point. Now, the way that we've run up into there, it's on a 12.5% move today. A very, very strong move, powerful move. The type of move that I want to see my top 10 doing. Grabbing the market and just sort of saying, righto, shut up, sit down, let's get going. I'm sick of this. And it's done that. Ethereum was grinding lower for a long time. That changed at the beginning of this month, and so far, the beginning of last month. So far, April has been nothing but bullishness, and we're kicking off May again with a nice move to kick us off. So very, 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 very good in that respect as well. The biggest player in the day, though, is IOTA. 2 days in a row now, IOTA has put on roughly about 30%. We've gone from about $2 up to where we sit now at $2.60, and we had peaked out at $2.80. Again, IOTA leading the charge. What's really great is that it smashed through a strong level of resistance. There was some pretty decent resistance at $2.30. We've blasted through that, and we are off once again. So right now, the market is looking very strong. The strongest it's been, well, look, let's be honest, it's been pretty strong of the last couple of months. Through April, it looked strong once we got that uptrend in place. And really, what I'm seeing now is if we can break up through 10,000 on Bitcoin, we are looking very, very good to run to 11.7. That is the number. That's the next resistance. Now, of course, I read charts. I look at technical analysis, and you're listening to me, so you can't see any of this. So I suggest, if you haven't already, that you jump across to tradercobb.com. You can go through the website, check everything out in there. There is a whole bunch of information there that is absolutely free. So why don't you just go and do it? Jump onto my Facebook, because I do daily videos there and lots of bits and pieces, as well as Twitter as well, and my YouTube channel. So jump across all of it. You know what? Give me a review. If you like the show, I'd absolutely love to see a review. Give me a rating. So I've had some fantastic guests. Yesterday, guys, I had some real crackers. And also last night, I was on the Crypto Sydney meetup, and shared a panel with some amazing guests, hedge fund managers, tech startup gurus that have hundreds of employees, and also somebody from a very powerful and up and coming platform here for buying and selling of cryptocurrency in Australia. So it's been a pretty massive 48 hours for me. And I've really, really enjoyed it. Meeting some amazing people. I'm really, really excited, actually, because next week it looks like I'm going to be going to Consensus. I haven't booked the flights yet, but we're getting there. And that's going to be, if I enjoyed last night at this Sydney Crypto Meetup event, I am going to have an absolute ball when I get to New York. So if you're in New York, if you're around New York, let us know. If there's anybody you think I should be sitting down and speaking with that you've got to reach to, please just get in contact with us and drop us an email. It's admin@TraderCobb, and you'll be able to get in contact with my team and see if we can't line something up there. So, with all the sitting back and waiting for the last few days and basically the whole week, really, and a fair bit, actually last Friday, I think I was sort of saying, if we break up through this level, we'll head to 10,000. Well, guess what? It's Friday again, and guess what? I'm saying the same thing. We've broken up through, and 10,000 looks very, very likely right here, guys. So how are you going to play this? Are you going to have a bit of FOMO? Are you going to start buying Bitcoin? Are you going to start going crazy? Depends on what your strategy is. Do you have a strategy? That's the important thing. I spoke to a lot of people last night, and there was a lot of questions that are born from a place where it's obvious that they don't really have a plan. Okay, don't really have a plan. There were some fantastic questions last night. Don't get me wrong. I mean, for anybody who's listening to the show today or your first listen from last night, I welcome you. But my point is this, there was definitely some questions that were angled towards us, both during the panel discussion, but more so after the panel when I was speaking to people in little groups, that it sort of struck me, and it quite often does, how people don't really have a plan in this space. And it's still a new emerging market. There's no doubt about that. We find it very difficult at the moment to put a fair value and to calculate what is the value of a crypto asset at the moment, so that there's a lot that's going on that needs to grow. So in many ways it can be difficult to have the same sort of plan as you might bring if you were trading or investing, not so much trading but investing in traditional markets. But not having a sequence of events to come to an outcome, it really concerns me, guys. I've said this many times before, and I'll say it again. If you don't have a plan, you are in big trouble. You need to be able to be responsible for your actions, but know what your actions are going to be. If you don't know what you're going to do each day, it's kind of like jumping on a plane and not knowing where you're going to land, except for a whole lot less enjoyable. That's exciting and that's fun, but it's not going to be conducive of giving you good results. Whether you're trading or investing, I mean, I do both. Don't get me wrong. I am a trader. I'm a holder. I'm an intraday trader. I'm a swing trader. I am in these markets short, medium, and long term. I've built a business in these markets, a couple. There's a lot that I'm doing within this space. I've got a plan for each of them, and it's just the way that I walk through my life. Is that when it comes to business, when it comes to execution of a project, I need to know exactly what's going on. And as some of the panelists said last night that have had huge success in their business, one of the comments that stood out was, when they're looking at different projects, he said the words were, I'm going to roll out my playbook, which basically means I know what's going to work, so I'm going to follow what's worked in the past. I'm going to roll out what I know to be factual, what I think is going to work, what I know to work. So he's going to come into any business with a plan of attack. Watch what you do each day. Are you coming into it with a plan of attack? Are you going into ICOs and investing in ICOs with people that do look like they've got a plan of attack? And more importantly, what is your plan of attack? And if you haven't got one, best you get started. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great, is the famous words of Zig Ziglar in a quote that I love. So guys, get started, get in the path to be great. Have a great day, have a great weekend. Jump on tradercobb.com, share it with your friends. If you like this, probably they do too. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye for now.
The Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast. Check out tradercobb.com because experience matters.